Some dreams feel too big, too far away, but not for Juliana. With a love for K-dramas in her heart and unwavering dedication, she turned her fantasy into reality. She was just a girl with a dream, but dreams don't stay dreams forever, not when you chase them with passion. Now she's living the life she once only saw on screen. Get comfortable, grab your popcorn, and let her take us through her journey on how she made the impossible possible. Juliana, a bright and ambitious Nigerian teenager, had always dreamed of visiting South Korea. If given the chance, she wished not only to visit, but also to study there. Her love for the country stemmed from its rich culture, unique language, and delicious food. K-dramas were her world, and K-pop was the soundtrack to her life. She spent hours watching Korean dramas, learning Hangul online, and practicing Korean phrases whenever she could. Among her few friends, Sandra was the only one who knew the depth of Juliana's obsession with South Korea. Every time they met, Juliana would excitedly practice her Korean with Sandra and declare, "One day I'll go to Korea and study there." Sandra, however, would laugh it off, shaking her head. "You're just dreaming, Juliana. You should be realistic," she often said. Juliana's room reflected her passion, walls covered in K-drama posters, a bookshelf filled with language learning materials, and even her parents occasionally hearing her call them Ioma and Appa, the Korean words for mom and dad. Then, one day, the impossible happened. Juliana received an email from a prestigious exchange program informing her that she had been selected for a scholarship to study in South Korea. Her heart raced as she read the message over and over again. It was a dream come true. She had always excelled academically, and now her hard work had opened doors she never imagined. While others might see it as just another study opportunity, to Juliana, it was a miracle. Her parents, though initially surprised, were incredibly proud and supportive. They celebrated her achievement with a small family gathering, beaming with pride as they discussed her upcoming journey. Within a few days, Juliana packed her bags, her excitement outweighing any nervousness she felt. Her parents escorted her to the airport, giving her tight hugs and words of encouragement before she boarded her flight. Upon arriving in South Korea, Juliana was welcomed by her host family, Mr. and Mrs. Kang. They were kind and hospitable, making sure she felt comfortable in their home. The Kangs had a son, Tayo, who was well known for his striking looks. His tall frame, deep-set eyes, and charismatic aura made him the center of attention at school. However, despite his popularity, Tayo was distant and cold, rarely speaking to others. The moment Juliana saw him, her heart skipped a beat. "He looks just like a K-drama oppa," she whispered to herself, unable to hide her admiration. She had seen countless characters like him on screen, handsome, mysterious, and somewhat unattainable. The next day, Juliana started school, eager to embrace her new life. The teacher introduced her to the class, and she was assigned a seat next to a girl named Micha. At first glance, Micha seemed like an ordinary student, but Juliana quickly learned that she was the leader of a group of bullies. Alongside her two friends, Sora and Mun Young, Micha made it her mission to pick on weaker students. Micha had known Tayo since childhood and had strong feelings for him. Unfortunately for her, Tayo did not feel the same way. Despite his indifference, she was determined to make him hers and ensured that no other girl got too close to him. When Micha learned that Juliana was living in Tayo's house, she was furious. The very next day, Micha confronted Juliana in the hallway, grabbing her by the wrist. "Stay away from my appa!" she hissed, her eyes blazing with jealousy. "Why are you even staying at his house?" Juliana, caught off guard, could barely form a response before Micha and her friends walked away, leaving her standing alone in confusion. That evening, Juliana recounted the incident to Tayo. "Are you dating Micha?" she asked hesitantly. Tayo sighed. "No, we were just childhood friends, that's all." Juliana then told him about Micha's bullying, expecting him to step in. Instead, his response was indifferent. "That's your problem," he said coolly. "Micha isn't just anyone. You should be careful." Juliana was stunned. "So you'd rather let her bully me just because she's your friend?" she snapped, hurt by his response. Without waiting for an answer, she stormed into her room, slamming the door behind her. Lying on her bed, she clenched her fists. She had imagined a different scenario, one where Teo would defend her like the male leads in K-dramas always did. But this was reality, and reality didn't always follow the script. Yet, she refused to let this ruin her experience. She had come to South Korea to fulfill her dreams, and no one, not even Micha, was going to stand in her way. Determined, Juliana decided to make the most of her stay. She explored Seoul, visited the Han River, tried different Korean dishes, and even took stunning photos at Gyeongbokgung Palace. Even though she hadn't made any friends yet, she promised herself that she would make her time in South Korea unforgettable. Little did she know, her adventure was just beginning. A few days later, their teacher announced a special class outing to an art gallery. Excitement buzzed through the classroom as students chatted eagerly about the trip. However, Juliana wasn't as thrilled. She hadn't made many friends yet, and the only person she knew, Teo, was always cold to her in school. The next morning, as the students boarded the bus to the art gallery, Juliana sat by herself, slipping on her headset to listen to music. She stared out the window, lost in thought, until a soft voice interrupted her. "Hi, I'm Michelle. Can I sit here?" Juliana looked up to see a pretty girl with a friendly smile. Relieved to finally have someone approach her, she nodded. "Of course." As the bus ride continued, they quickly bonded. Juliana shared stories about Nigeria, its rich culture, vibrant cities, and delicious food. Michelle listened with fascination, admitting that she had traveled to many countries but had never been to Africa. "I really want to visit someday," Michelle said excitedly. "You should," Juliana encouraged. "You'll love it." At the back of the bus, Teo sat surrounded by several girls, all giggling and trying to get his attention. Juliana stole a quick glance at him, but quickly looked away. "Why should I care?" she told herself. At the art gallery, Juliana and Michelle walked together, admiring the paintings and sculptures. They discussed different cultures, and Michelle continued to express her curiosity about Africa. Juliana felt happy. Finally, she had someone she could talk to. Meanwhile, Teo observed them from a distance but didn't approach. He remained distant, acting as if he didn't care. On the way back, Juliana and Michelle took their seats together again, but this time, Teo walked over. "Michelle, can you switch seats with me?" he asked. Michelle hesitated, glancing between them. Juliana raised a brow, surprised by his sudden interest. Eventually, Michelle shrugged and moved. Teo sat down beside Juliana and asked, "Why didn't you talk to me the entire trip?" Juliana, annoyed, ignored him and turned up her music. Teo reached out and pulled down her headset. "I asked you a question." Juliana shot him an irritated look. "Weren't you busy with your girlfriends at the back?" Teo smirked. "Are you jealous?" Juliana's cheeks heated up. "Jealous? Of you? No way." She quickly put her headset back on, pretending not to hear him. But Teo wasn't done. Once again, he pulled off her headset. "Now I get it. You are jealous." Juliana turned away, flustered. "I am not jealous," she muttered. Teo leaned back in his seat, amused. "If you say so." The next day in class, Mrs. Kang sent Teo with a small bag of cookies for Juliana. "Give these to Juliana," she had told him. "She might like them." Juliana accepted the cookies, smiling at the unexpected gift. But before she could even open them, Micha stormed over, grabbing her wrist and pulling her into the hallway. "Do you think that just because you live with Teo, he'll fall for you?" Micha sneered. "You're nothing to him, just a stranger in his house." Juliana clenched her fists, holding back her anger. Just then, Teo walked past them. He saw the scene unfold but did nothing. He simply walked away. Juliana's chest tightened. So he's just going to ignore this? Furious, she stormed back into the classroom. From that day on, she started avoiding Teo at school. His attitude confused her. He was cold to her in public, but acted differently at home. That evening, after school, she rushed straight to her room, not wanting to face him. But Teo wasn't one to be ignored. Later that night, He knocked on her door and stepped inside. "Juliana," he said, his voice unusually soft. "I promise I'll do something about Micha. I won't let her bully you anymore." Juliana's eyes widened in surprise. "You mean that?" He nodded. "Just trust me." When he left, Juliana couldn't stop smiling. What changed him? She wondered, feeling warmth spread in her chest. The next day in class, their classmate Wubin excitedly announced a party at his house. "It's a Pepero game party," he said. The Pepero game was simple but thrilling. Two people had to bite from each end of a Pepero stick until their lips nearly touched. Michelle nudged Juliana. "Let's go and have fun, Chingu." Juliana hesitated. "I don't know." "Come on, you've been stressed lately. Who knows? You might get paired with your crush," Michelle teased with a wink. Juliana blushed. "Fine, let's go." That evening, she nervously asked Teo, "Are you going to the party?" Teo nodded. Juliana's heart skipped a beat. "That means you'll be there?" "Yes." She smiled, feeling strangely excited. At the party, the students gathered in Wubin's living room, laughing and playing games. They picked random numbers to determine partners. Unfortunately for Juliana, Teo was paired with Micha. Juliana's face fell, jealousy creeping in. Michelle whispered, "Relax, it's just a game." "I know," Juliana mumbled, forcing a smile. But before the game could finish, something unexpected happened. As Juliana stood up, she noticed a stain on her dress. Before she could react, Teo swiftly removed his jacket, wrapped it around her waist, and held her hand, leading her out of the room. Micha's face twisted with fury. Outside, Juliana's face burned with embarrassment. "Teo, Don't be embarrassed," he reassured her. "It happens. It's normal." His kind words made her heart race. She glanced up at him, seeing him in a new light. Maybe he's not so bad after all. The next day, during basketball practice, Juliana and Michelle stood at the sidelines, watching. Michelle smirked. "You've been staring at Teo a lot. How does it feel seeing your crush every day?" Juliana scoffed. "I wasn't watching him. I was watching everyone," Michelle giggled. "Sure, sure." As the game continued, Juliana held a bottle of water. Teo suddenly approached and took it from her, drinking directly from it. Micha, still fuming from the previous night, clenched her fists. She grabbed a basketball and intentionally threw it toward Juliana. But before it could hit her, Teo caught it mid-air. He turned to Micha, his eyes cold. "This is your last warning," he said. "If you ever try to hurt Juliana again, you won't like what happens next." Micha, humiliated, stormed off the field. Teo turned back to Juliana. "Wait for me after practice. We'll walk home together." Juliana nodded, her heart thudding. As they walked, she kept sneaking glances at him. Teo caught her staring. "Are you falling for me already?" he teased. Juliana, embarrassed, quickly looked away. "No, I'm not," Teo chuckled. "If you say so." As they continued walking, Juliana realized something. Teo wasn't just some cold, untouchable guy. He was someone who made her heart race, and that scared her more than anything. A few days after returning to school, the entire campus was buzzing with excitement. A large poster had been placed on the bulletin board announcing the upcoming prom night. Students crowded around, chatting excitedly and discussing their potential partners. Micha, eager to secure a date with Teo, confidently approached him during lunch. Flipping her hair, she smiled. "So, are you ready to be my prom partner?" she asked, fully expecting a yes. Teo looked at her apologetically. "I'm sorry, Micha, but I already have someone else in mind." Her smile faded instantly. "What?" she scoffed. "I already have plans," he repeated, his tone firm but polite. Anger flashed in Micha's eyes. Without another word, she turned on her heels and stormed off, leaving Teo unfazed. Meanwhile, Juliana had been debating whether to ask Teo. She liked him, but was too shy to admit it. Gathering courage, she approached him after school. "Teo," she started hesitantly, her heart racing, "would you like to be my prom partner?" Teo sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I don't really like that type of party. Disappointed, Juliana was about to step back when he suddenly added, "But I'll go for you." She froze, barely believing what she had heard. "Really?" she asked, eyes wide with excitement. Teo nodded. "Yeah." Juliana couldn't contain her happiness. "Michelle, we have to go shopping," she squealed, rushing to find her best friend. That weekend, Juliana and Michelle went dress shopping, searching for the perfect gowns for the big night. Michelle picked a sleek navy blue dress, while Juliana found a breathtaking pink gown that shimmered under the light. "I hope Teo likes it," she whispered to herself, blushing at the thought. As the days passed, excitement filled the air. Prom night was just around the corner, and everyone was preparing for what was sure to be an unforgettable evening. The long-awaited prom night finally arrived, and the school gymnasium had been transformed into a dazzling ballroom. Golden fairy lights draped across the ceiling, while a grand chandelier illuminated the dance floor. Students arrived one by one, dressed in their best outfits, eager to dance the night away. Juliana stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the sparkling pink gown she had chosen. Her hair was styled in soft waves, and her makeup was simple yet elegant. "You look stunning," Michelle gushed, standing beside her in her navy blue dress. Juliana smiled nervously. "Do you think Teo will like it?" Michelle smirked. "Oh, he'll be speechless." With that, the two girls grabbed their clutches and headed to the prom. When Juliana walked into the venue, the entire room seemed to pause. Heads turned, whispers spread, and even some girls looked envious. But the only reaction Juliana cared about was Teo's. Standing by the refreshment table in a black suit, Teo froze when he saw her. His usual confident expression faltered, and for the first time, he was at a loss for words. "She's beautiful," he thought to himself, his heart pounding in a way he didn't expect. Juliana approached him with a shy smile. "Do I look okay?" Teo swallowed and quickly regained his composure. "You look amazing." His compliment made Juliana blush. Before she could say anything, the music shifted to a slow song. Teo extended his hand. "Dance with me?" Juliana hesitated for a moment before placing her hand in his. As they stepped onto the dance floor, Teo placed his hand gently on her waist, pulling her close. They swayed to the soft melody, lost in the moment. Teo couldn't take his eyes off her. "Juliana," he finally spoke, his voice sincere. She looked up at him, her heart racing. "Yes." He took a deep breath. It was now or never. "I really like you," he confessed. "I want us to be together. Since you came to Korea, you've changed me. You make me want to be better. Whenever I'm around you, I feel happy." Juliana's eyes widened in surprise. She hadn't expected him to confess tonight. "Teo," she started, but he continued, "I don't want to wait any longer. Can you please accept my proposal?" For a moment, everything else faded, the music, the people, even the prom itself. Then Juliana smiled warmly and nodded. "Yes, Teo, I like you too." Hearing this, Teo grinned, relieved and overjoyed. Without thinking, he pulled her into a tight hug, making everyone around them cheer. That night, Juliana and Teo officially became a couple, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. A few days later, Mr. and Mrs. Kang returned home to celebrate Teo's birthday. The house was filled with laughter and the aroma of delicious food. Everyone gathered around, enjoying the celebration. At the party, Juliana handed Teo a beautifully wrapped gift. "Happy birthday, Teo," she said warmly. Teo smiled, appreciating the thoughtfulness. "Thank you, Juliana." He unwrapped it carefully and found a silver bracelet with his initials engraved on it. Juliana bit her lip nervously. "I wanted to give you something meaningful," she explained. Teo stared at the bracelet for a moment before gently slipping it onto his wrist. He looked up at Juliana, his eyes filled with warmth. "I love it," he said softly. "Thank you, Juliana." Her heart fluttered at his words. After the party, Teo turned to Juliana with a mischievous smile. "Come with me. I want to take you somewhere special." Curious, Juliana followed him outside. They hopped on his motorcycle and rode through the brightly lit streets of Seoul. Their first stop was a karaoke room where they sang their favorite songs, laughing at each other's off-key moments. Next, Teo took her to a game center, where they competed in arcade games. Juliana even managed to beat him in a racing game, making Teo pretend to be offended. "You're secretly a pro, aren't you?" he teased. Juliana laughed. "Maybe I just got lucky." As the night went on, they wandered around the city, enjoying street food and taking pictures. At one point, Teo looked at her and said, "This is the best birthday I've ever had." Juliana smiled. "I'm glad." Holding hands, they walked back towards Teo's motorcycle, the city lights reflecting in their eyes. It was a night neither of them would ever forget. As the days passed, excitement over the prom and Teo's birthday celebration began to fade, but something else lingered in Juliana's heart: the reality of graduation. The end of the school year was approaching fast, and while everyone around her was looking forward to their future plans, Juliana felt uneasy. She had grown to love Korea, made amazing friends, and found a place where she truly felt at home. The thought of leaving made her chest tighten. One evening after school, she sat quietly in the living room. The usual warmth of the house felt distant as she stared blankly at her phone. Mrs. Kang, noticing her silence, walked over and sat beside her. "Juliana, dear, is something wrong?" she asked gently. Juliana sighed. I don't want to leave Korea," she admitted. "I've built a life here. I have friends, dreams, and a future I never imagined before." Mrs. Kang listened patiently before placing a comforting hand on Juliana's. "Then maybe you should tell your parents how you feel," she suggested. "Sometimes they just want to know what truly makes you happy." Juliana nodded. She knew she couldn't keep avoiding the conversation. That night, she made a decision. She took a deep breath, picked up her phone, and called her parents in Nigeria on a video call. As soon as their faces appeared on the screen, a wave of emotions rushed over her. "Juliana, my daughter," her mother greeted cheerfully. "How are you? You look worried." Juliana hesitated for a moment, but then spoke. "Mom, Dad, I need to talk to you about something important." Her parents exchanged a glance before her father said, "We're listening." Taking another deep breath, she explained, "I don't want to leave Korea after graduation. I want to stay and continue my university education here." Her mother's expression changed. "Juliana, we sent you there for high school. The plan has always been for you to return." Juliana swallowed hard. "I know, Mom, but I've found a home here. I want to pursue my dreams in Korea. I promise I'll be responsible. I've already looked into universities, and I can work part-time to support myself." Her father's face softened. He sighed. "You sound serious about this." There was a long pause, and Juliana held her breath, fearing their response. Then her mother spoke again. "If this is truly what you want, then we won't stop you." Juliana's eyes widened in surprise. You mean it?" Her father nodded. "You're old enough to make decisions about your future. We will support you." Overwhelmed with emotion, Juliana clapped her hands together and grinned. Thank you so much." The moment the call ended, she rushed to tell Michelle and Teo the good news. Teo's face lit up. "You're really staying?" Juliana nodded excitedly. Teo exhaled in relief. "That's the best news I've heard all day." Juliana smiled. In that moment, she knew she had made the right choice. The excitement of Juliana's decision to stay in Korea filled the air. She couldn't stop smiling as she walked through the school hallways, feeling a sense of relief that she wouldn't have to say goodbye to her friends or the life she had built. Michelle and Teo were just as happy as she was. During lunch, Michelle excitedly grabbed Juliana's hands. "I still can't believe you're staying. This is the best thing ever," she squealed. Juliana laughed. "I know, it feels unreal, but I'm so happy my parents agreed." Teo, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke. "It really wouldn't have been the same without you here." His words were simple, but the sincerity in his voice made Juliana's heart warm. With graduation approaching, the three of them spent as much time together as possible. They studied for final exams, took pictures in their school uniforms, and reminisced about all the memories they had created over the years. Juliana felt grateful for every moment. Then the long-awaited graduation day arrived. The ceremony was grand, with students dressed in caps and gowns, the school decorated beautifully, and families cheering from the audience. As Juliana walked across the stage to receive her diploma, she spotted Mrs. Kang and Mr. Kang clapping proudly for her. They had become like second parents to her, always supportive and kind. After the ceremony, Juliana stood with her friends, taking pictures and exchanging warm hugs. Michelle pouted playfully. "We're officially graduates now. No more sneaking out of class or cramming for exams together." Juliana laughed. "But we have a whole new adventure ahead of us." Teo smirked. "Speaking of which, we should celebrate properly. Let's go somewhere fun today." Michelle clapped her hands. "Ooh, yes, I know the perfect place." Later that evening, they all gathered at a karaoke and game center to celebrate their graduation. The place was lively with bright lights, music, and laughter. Juliana, Tayo, and Michelle took turns singing their hearts out in the karaoke room, laughing at each other's terrible singing. When it was Juliana's turn, she chose a slow, emotional song. As she sang, Teo watched her with admiration. He had always liked her, but seeing her so happy, so confident, made his feelings for her grow even stronger. After karaoke, they played arcade games, competed in dance battles, and ate delicious street food from a nearby vendor. It was one of the best nights of Juliana's life. As the night came to an end, Teo pulled Juliana aside. They stood near the Han River, the city lights reflecting beautifully on the water. "I'm really happy you stayed," Teo said softly. Juliana smiled. "Me too." Looking into her eyes, Teo took a deep breath. "Juliana, I know we've been dating for a while, but I want you to know that I truly, deeply care about you. You changed my life in ways I can't explain." Juliana's heart pounded. "Teo, I promise to always be good to you," he continued. Touched by his words, Juliana stepped forward and hugged him. "Thank you, Teo, for everything." As they held each other under the starry sky, Juliana knew her new life in Korea was just beginning. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more. Thanks for watching. 사랑해요.